What's happening, family? Dr. Joe here. Hope each of you are well and blessed. Salute to Miss Olivia. You can see here on this particular picture. I wanted to take some time to not only salute Olivia for her hard work, but to point three things out about Miss Olivia and her amazing transformation, because I want you to see some things that are very, very important. First of all, this is one of our recent graduates. She is out of the 40-day turn-up World's Greatest Transformation Process fresh group. They came out in mid-April, so she's one of our recent graduates. The first thing I want you to look where her weight was lost. Look at her midsection. Look at the before and look at the after. This is very, very key. This is a big, big deal. All right, when you see weight that is being carried from right under the chest to right under the waist, that area, or that muffin top that we find around us, is very, very important. And to gain weight around that midsection is very, very telling to the increase of visceral fat, as well as leading to the point of insulin resistance. That's how it looks. I'm not saying you can just look at somebody and tell they're insulin resistant, but there are some physical cues that you can see, and you can see how much flatter that midsection is from when she started to after, meaning that when you're doing things in the natural way, all right, and when you are not just eating whatever it is that you want, but we're being very mindful of anti-inflammatory foods, but also when people are coming through the process, we're trying to be watchful of insulin spikes. All right, when the insulin is nice and balanced, when blood sugar is not spiked, it helps the body and encourages the body not to hold on to that visceral fat. And if you combine that with a caloric deficit, meaning you're eating under the calories that you're burning, these are the types of results that you see. And just for the sake of perspective or context, this is 6 weeks. The before picture was taken to the date 6 weeks before the after. So I just want you to know, and I want you to understand that, all right? The second thing I want you to look at her blood pressure. She starts at 194 over 107. 6 weeks later, she's 117 over 80. Now keep in mind, typical blood pressure treatment is going to lower the systolic, or the top number, by about 20 points, and the bottom number somewhere around 10 to 14, 15 points. All right, you can see that is that's a 60 plus point drop on the systolic, and you can see that's a 27 point drop on the diastolic. This is what natural lifestyle can do when you have a plan and when you're working it. And keep in mind, stroke level or hypertensive crisis is 180 over 20, so you can see how close she is to that. But you can also see how these great results happen so quickly, and they happen without drugs. You don't need to be on prescription medication. All right, and a lot of people who are on hypertensive medication, you're on a litany of different drugs. You're on one drug does this, another water pill, another beta blocker, all these different things. And when you look at the side effects of those pills, and when you see how a lot of those water pills and hypertensive treatment in terms of medication fries the kidneys and it weakens the kidneys. All right, those are the things that we want to avoid. You want to restore your health as natural as possible. You want to live as drug-free as possible. There's nothing wrong with pharmaceutical drugs, because a lot of people need pharmaceutical drugs to change their lives. However, the problem is when our lifestyle is creating the disease and we are using those pharmaceutical drugs as a crutch to sustain or to prolong our life. That's when we have issues, and that's when we have problems, all right? The last thing I want you to see that a lot of people don't pay attention to, look at her resting pulse. Look at how it starts at 88 beats per minute, and on the after is 67 beats per minute. Now, there are a lot of different things that can raise heart rates, that can lower heart rates. Did she take it before she was exercising, etc.? But I want to point something out to you, because a lot of people do not take into consideration the importance of resting heartbeat or resting heart rate. All right. You can tell how hard the heart is working in her before, and not just the blood pressure, okay, but also the beats per minute. The heart is having to work more, and it's having to pump faster, all right, because the blood could be too viscous or thick. She could be dehydrated, which makes the blood thicker. There could be other issues that are going on that are different from the aforementioned things. But you can see that on the after, how her beats per minute comes down, and it's in tandem. You can see a lot of times a connection with your heart rate and your blood pressure. All right, that the less pressure and the less taxed the heart is through the improvement of your health, through eating, through hydration, and through exercising. All three of those things will directly lower blood pressure, as well as it will take the pressure off of the heart. You can tell how the heart will slow down because it's not working as hard. When you increase hydration, meaning what? Water, what's going to happen to the blood? It's going to become thinner. Think about your blood looking like ketchup over against what it should look like red wine. They're very thin. The thinner the blood, the easier it is to flow. So a lot of times, blood pressure can be a question of poor hydration. And most people are dehydrated. I want you to understand that. But number two, the heart is not having to work as hard, so it's slowing down. But on top of that, you can tell that one of the major reasons why you see a lower beats per minute is when you condition the heart. The more you train, a poorly conditioned heart, the individual is going to have a high resting pulse or high BPM, beats per minute. The more you condition your heart, that's why athletes, fitness athletes, or Olympians, boxers, swimmers, a lot of them, cyclists, can have heart rates, a resting heart rate in the 30s to the 40s, because the heart becomes more conditioned, so it beats slowly. It's more efficient. This is why individuals who are properly conditioned, all right, when they exert themselves, and then after they finish exerting themselves, they can get back to a place to where they are ready to go again more precipitously, because their heart has been conditioned and trained. If you're the type of person, you walk up the stairs, you about to faint and fall out, that's a poorly trained heart. A heart whereby you are conditioning the heart, and not only eating properly, not only hydration, but also when you're to the point to where you are exercising as you're supposed to. And people who come through the 40-day turn up and the Journey 3.0 Plus process and reset all learn about this. It's not just one thing that we do to get these results. It's a synergistic type of approach that manifests these amazing results. But I want you to understand that, all right? So salute to Miss Olivia. She's looking great. She robbed the bank. She still has her foot on the gas. Hope you guys are well and blessed. Let me know below what you think about this. Till next time, we'll see you on the next one.